I've been dealing with alopecia for the past 3.5 years, and I'm also part of a clinical trial, so I thought I'd just do a check-in. If you haven't seen part 1 already, which is more about the clinical trial, go ahead and watch that before you watch this video. It's been 4 months now being part of this clinical trial, and have I noticed any changes? Let's have a look. So this is the front of my scalp. So you can see there's one big spot here and there's another big spot here. To me, these spots have gotten bigger. I'll pop some photos in here of how they looked before. This is the back. As you can see, there is a giant spot here. Again, this feels like it's gotten bigger. I used to also have a patch here, which I feel like has gone away since. And I had a bit of thinning around here, which can't really tell. Look at this. This is clear signs of growth. Okay, so clinical trial update. I've been going every few weeks, and now that I'm 4 months into the trial, the appointments are getting more spaced out. Every appointment, they do the infusion, they do lots of blood tests, but they basically infuse me with the drug. The rate of infusion has increased, which is great because the first session was like 8 hours. It was all day, it was very draining. But now they infuse me with the drug within 2 hours, and then I'm there for another 2 hours of observation. So it's not as long of a day. In terms of side effects, I feel very lethargic after my appointment. I actually used to drive back, which is about 2 hours, and I would be micro sleeping because of how exhausted my body was. So I've since started taking the train, and I guess the appointments being shorter does help, but regardless, I'm actually very, very drained at the end of the day, even though I haven't really done anything. Probably my body reacting to the drug. In terms of any improvements, look, when I look at myself, I feel like the spots have gotten bigger. And to be honest, I am wearing my wig 90% of the time when I leave the house. And if I'm at home, I'm wearing my headband. So I don't really look at myself except for when I shower. And when I shower, it looks really, really big to me. However, the doctor from the clinical trial, she did an inspection the other day and they took progress photos, and they are seeing signs of growth. They're seeing hair follicles, very, very small, so not visible to me when I look at myself in the mirror, but according to them, there is positive results, and they're staying positive to their drug. So look, that's good news. If they can see the growth, I trust what they're seeing. When I look at myself, I don't see any progress, but there are other ways I'm also tracking it. So I have been using a few products. Actually, I can go grab them now to show you. One moment. So these are all the products I'm currently using. Of course, the clinical trial drug is what I think is impacting my scalp the most, but these are all helping, I would say. So starting off with the Growth Bomb shampoo and conditioner. I've used this about 6 washes now, and I have noticed my hair is falling out less in the shower. Again, it might not just be this product, it might be the clinical trial, it might be a combination of everything, but I just want to share what I'm currently doing in my routine. So I use this. I've also continued using my rosemary shampoo. I love the way this one smells and feels on my hair. I've actually been doing double wash. So I use this first and then this to give my scalp an extra cleanse. So note, because I wear my wig and my hair is usually up, I don't wash it as often as I used to. So I've been kind of stretching it maybe 1 week or even 10 days sometimes. I think leaving my scalp alone is what's going to help, because every time I wash it, I obviously see lots of hair fall. So I think it's been helping having that routine. The other 2 products I use is this Kerastase, what is it called? Fortifying Anti-Hair Fall Serum, and this Scalp Aura Hair Oil. As you can see, I'm down to the very bottom. This one is more oily and heavy, whereas this one is really light. So when I first wash my hair, I use this, and as I'm approaching hair wash day, I'll use this. Now, honestly, I'm not very diligent with it. I just pop it on my spots, massage it in, that's it. I do have a derma roller, I do have a scalp massager, but I am so lazy. I don't have time to do that. I do what I can and I get on with my day. So that's everything I've been using. The other thing worth mentioning is I think the reason I have alopecia is because of stress from starting my business, which actually started 3.5 years ago when I first notice my first spot. So in the last, I'd say 4 to 5 months, I have been trying to have a bit more of a balance. I'm understanding my business is not my entire world, and what's the whole point if I'm not actually enjoying every moment of it? So I've been conscious to have days off, have time off, not be like, I'm not saving lives here. So I think that is also going to be a factor in all this, because if that's the reason it's caused my alopecia, I can undo that. So I'm also trying to be a bit more mindful and giving myself that grace. So yes, that's the update. The next appointment is end of the month. I'm having appointments spaced out every single month now. So look, my hair is growing. According to the doctor, they're seeing growth on the spots as well, but I don't want to be losing more hair. I don't want to have more spots. So I'm trying to do all this in my routines, regulate my nervous system, and of course trust that that drug is doing its job, and hopefully I'll have a full head of hair real soon. If you're dealing with alopecia, hair loss, or any other autoimmune condition, I just want to let you know you're not alone. It sucks that this is happening to us. Our own body is doing this to us, but we just have to be consistent and trust the process. At the end of the day, it's hair. It sucks because my hair is so personal to me and it really impacts the way I show up online and in person, but I don't let it stop me. I've got my wig, I've got my headband, I've got hair fibers, and ultimately I just have to power through. So we've got this. If you're on the same boat, feel free to reach out to me on here, on Instagram, TikTok. My DMs are always open. And thank you so much for watching this video and being part of my journey. Bye.